For today's discussion for this subject, accounting for non-accountants, we will discuss the unit 2 pertaining to analyzing transaction lang muna. Kasi this is the most crucial part of the accounting cycle, the analyzing of or the analysis of transactions. Once we analyze transactions, by the way, okay, we need to analyze it in a view sa perspective or sa viewpoint ng business, okay? Viewpoint of the business, okay? Or the accounting entity. Ano po ibig sabihin nito, no? Okay? So once you analyze transaction, yung iisipin mo is, will this transaction affect the business or not? Yun yung unang tanong, no? For example, pag bumili ba si owner ng personal na gamit niya, it will affect ba the business? Considering that it is very much personal na pagbili, it will not affect the business naman. So, it is not a transaction affecting the business. If ever, no, if it will affect the what we call this it will affect the business, meaning, okay, that transaction must be recorded, okay? So una mong kailangan i-analyze, ha, again, once you have this transaction, is whether this transaction will affect the business or not. If it will not affect the business, you don't need to include that transaction as part of your recordable transaction. If it will affect the business, yun na po papasok na pwede po nating i-record yung transaction at i-analyze pa deeply, okay? Once we analyze, we need to determine what is the value parted with. Okay, ito yung hahanapin natin, no? Value parted with and value received. Okay? So, dapat mong makita kung ano yung mga value parted with at value received from that transaction. For example, no, yung mga value parted with at value received. Okay, in the viewpoint, no, in the viewpoint of the business or the accounting entity, okay, for example is nagbenta ka ng supplies or inventory to customers, okay, for cash, okay, that is an accountable transaction that will affect the business organization. Tanong mo ngayon, what is the value parted with and what is the value received? Okay. So, nagbenta ka ng inventory in exchange of cash. Okay, that is our transaction. If that would be the transaction, your value received is the cash. Okay? Because the entity received the cash. Okay? Nakatanggap po yung entity ng cash from that particular transaction. Pag sinabing value parted with, ano po yung nailabas po natin in exchange of that cash? And that is the inventory. Okay? So, yun po yung ibig sabihin ng value parted with at value received. Sir, what if the transaction happened to be like this? Nagbayad po ako ng utang ng business. Okay, the business, no? Kasi minsan yung business may sarili siyang utang, then ikaw as owner may personal na utang ka. Yung personal na utang mo cannot be recorded in the business. Instead, yung ire-record mo lang yung mga yung mga utang ng business lang, okay? So if that is the transaction, ano po yung value parted with? Nagbayad ng utang, okay? So, obviously, kung nagbayad ka ng utang, you have an outflow of cash, no? Okay? Yung cash, lumabas sa business. Ano naman yung pumasok? Okay? Nabawasan po yung utang ko. That is value received, no? That is the value received on that particular transaction. Sometimes in most of the students, the value parted with and the value received are yung sinatawag nilang ano po yung outflow, ano po yung inflow, ano yung parang yung value parted with, ano po ba ang lumalabas sa business? Anong resources yung lumalabas sa business? Ano ang nababawasan sa business? Yung value received naman, ano yung mga inflow sa business? Yun po yung iba, no? They connote the value parted with and value received on those terms. However, for accounting, no, the value parted with, yun po yung sinasabi nating mga credits, okay? Credit, okay? While on value received, yun po yung sinasabing debit, okay? Yun po yung dapat i-debit. Sir, once we analyze po ba transactions, ano po ba dapat makita? The debit or the credit? Wala pong policy kung ano ang dapat makita. Instead, you need to only to determine what is being received and what is being parted with, no? Okay. Kasi if you able to identify what is value received and what value parted with is, you can able to record that in properly, kasi you know what to debit and what to credit. Kaya analyzing is very important. Okay? So, ano po, that is the crucial part, no? You need to determine what is the value received and what is value parted with. Okay. Ngayon, let's discuss more on this particular topic on the elements of accounting. Okay. In the elements of accounting, okay, we have 5 different elements, no? We have the assets, we have the liabilities, we have the equity or the capital, okay? We have the revenues, and we have the expenses, okay? This is general. Ito minsan mine-memorize to ng mga estudyante, no? Even without thinking the what we call this, even without thinking, no, the effect of the particular transaction. Yung kailangan nilang is pag increase, that is debit, pag decrease, that is credit. Okay, so I can say you can memorize this, but rather of memorizing those, no, okay, it's better for you to understand why it is debit or value received, why it is credit or value parted with. No, if we are going to increase, okay, an asset, guys, kung dadagdagan mo yung asset mo, yung treatment mo dyan, that is a value received. So, that is debit, okay? So, dapat debit po yan, okay? We need to know these rules because later on the journalizing of transactions, gagamitin po natin itong mga rules na to, ha. Take note, if you want to increase your asset, okay, yung mga assets, no, okay, we need to debit it. Pero pagbabawasan mo yung asset, you need to credit it kasi meron pong outflow of resources. Pag debit, nag-increase because there is an inflow of resources. How about, sir, if liabilities, itong mga utang na to, pag nadadagdagan po ba yung utang, ano po ba yan? Kasi increase eh. Is that debit or credit? Well, once we increase our liabilities, that is credit. Okay? That is credit. There is a value parted with to you, no? If you want to decrease your liabilities, you need to debit it. Okay? Kasi you receive, no, a benefit. What is the benefit there? Nabawasan ka ng utang. Okay? Nabawasan ka ng utang. That's the benefit. Okay? Even though it's a decrease, okay? Pwede naman sabihin natin, there is a decrease of utang, kaya naging debit. There is an increase of utang, kaya credit. Okay? No? Guys, no, it doesn't mean that if it is increased, debit agad. It depends on the nature of the account or the element of the account. How about for equity? Once we increase our equity, the rule for that would be credit. Okay? I-credit po natin yon. Pag babawasan yung equity in a form of withdrawal, dapat debit yon, no? That is a debit. If revenues naman, itong mga gains, okay, kita, okay, if we want to increase our revenue, that would be credit, okay, and then if we want to decrease our revenue, that is debit, okay, and then once we record no expenses, okay, once we want to increase our expenses, okay, we need to debit it, okay, and then once we want to decrease our expenses, we will credit it. Okay? Yun po yung mga rules, ha? Take note, okay? So, this would be the rules later on that we are going, later on, i-apply po natin itong rules na to. Okay? Sige. Okay. Let's proceed to the next. No? After analyzing, we have what we call yung tinatawag na journalizing. What is journalizing, no? Journalizing is the formal, no, way of recording those transactions that affect the business organization, and make sure that those transactions are accountable transactions, because non-accountable transactions are not subject for journalizing. Okay? Hindi po natin gino-journalize yung mga non-accountable transactions. Ano po yung again, no, journalizing is the process wherein we formally record the transaction or the accountable transaction of an accounting entity. That is journalizing. Under journalizing, we follow, okay? We follow the what we call this system, yung double entry system. Okay? Okay, the double entry system. What is double entry system? The double entry system refers to refers to that a recording that affects two or more accounts, okay? Not elements, ha? Instead, two or more account titles. Kaya nga double entry kasi it will affect not only one account title but at least two and more account titles, no? Okay? Yun po yung ibig sabihin nun. That the double entry system affects, okay? Affects two or more, okay, account titles. Okay? Kaya tinawag siyang double entry system. Okay. Ano po yung account titles, sir? Okay. Account titles, by the way, pag sinasabi po nating account titles, okay, account titles, okay, please, paki-mute po natin yung ating mga microphone. Okay, Patrick, paki-mute po. Patrick, paki-mute po yung microphone. Patrick. Okay, thank you. Account titles, once we say account titles, okay, these are accounts, no? Specifically pertaining to one account, okay? For example, no, yung account title na cash, okay? That is an account title, no? Cash is an account title. It pertains a particular item. Tinatawag po siyang account title kasi it will pertain to a particular item of a business. For example is expenses. Yung expenses, marami yan. Pwedeng an account title of a salary expense, a utility expense, a telephone expense, a transportation expense. Those are account titles. For liabilities, marami din yan. We have the accounts payable, we have the notes payable, we have the accrued expenses, we have the salaries payable. Those are liability account titles. For assets, marami din. We have the cash. That is the account title, the most common. We have the accounts receivable, the notes receivable, the inventory, the prepaid expenses. Okay, those are most common account titles on assets. On equity, if it depends, no, it will depend on the business structure. Kasi pag sole proprietorship yan, simply the name, no, of the owner is an account title already. Okay? And then for revenues, kung service concern yan, the service revenue is an account title, no? Account title refers, okay, no, the term, okay, term that pertains to a specific, no, a specific item, okay, of the business, no? Okay? That's how I define it, no? Okay? So, yun. Okay? So, once we journalize, guys, okay, once we prepare the journal entries under the double entry system, una dapat we knew what are the account titles, okay, being affected, okay? Yun yung una, no? Yung mga rules natin or guide natin to journal is, una, what element is affected, okay? Yun yung unang rule. Titignan mo sa transaction, ano pong element ang naapektuhan? Is that an asset? Is that a liability? Is that a equity? Is that an expense? Or is that a revenue? Okay, sir, pwede po ba sa isang transaction, dalawang element? Yes, pwede yon, no? Pwedeng dalawang element, pwedeng tatlong element ang affected. Okay? Okay? Then the second one is, after you determine what element or elements are being affected, you need to determine what is specific account title. Okay? Account title, okay, is affected, okay? Dapat mong makita kung ano yung specific account title na naaapektuhan, okay? Okay? For example, if you have able to determine that the account title, the element that is being affected is asset, under the account title of cash. Okay, yun yung pangalawang sagot, no? Una mong nahanap is that the element, okay, that is the asset, and the second one is the account title pertaining to cash. Okay? Pero take note that a transaction can affect two or more account titles. Pwede sa isang element pero dalawang account titles. Pwedeng mag-iba-ibang element at kanya-kanyang account title. Take note, okay? Number 3, okay? Okay. Yung sunod mong dapat malaman once we journalize it, okay? What it's kuwan, no? Ano po ba yung effect? What is the effect? Okay. Okay? On the account title, okay? Okay? Or sa element or element, okay? No? Ibig sabihin po, what is the effect? Increase ba to or decrease ba to? Okay? Yun po yung dapat pangalawang dapat natin makita. Increase ba to or decrease ba to? Okay? Yun po yung kailangan mong makitang pangalawa on journalizing. Una, hinanap mo ano po ba yung effect ng ano po yung mga account titles being affected. As pangalawa, chinek mo anong account title yung nagkaroon ng merong effect, okay? Pangatlo, ano po ba yung effect? Nadagdagan po ba yung account title or the element, or nabawasan po ba yung account title, or nag-decrease po ba yung account title? Kasi pag if you have already determined whether it is increase or decrease, no? Whether it is increase, whether it is increase or decrease, okay? You can now use, no, the rules that I prepared. Ito, you can already use this. Yung if it is an asset, and if the element is an asset and there is an increase on that asset, we need to debit. If the element being affected is a liability, and if the effect was decrease, that is debit. Ganun po yun, no? Okay? So, gagamitin na po natin itong rules natin na ginawa. Okay, that if it is an increase on asset, we need to debit. If there is a decrease on asset, we need to credit, and so on and so forth. Okay? So, if those three questions are already answered, we need to prepare already. We need to prepare, okay, the formal, we need to prepare the journal entry already. Okay? Prepare the journal entry. Okay? A journal entry, again, okay, once we prepare a journal entry, we need to use the double entry system. Okay? Tanong mo ngayon, ano po ba itsura ng journal entry? Okay, ito ayusin lang natin. Okay? Yung itsura ng journal entry, guys, is this. Okay? Ganito po itsura nun, ha? Okay? Una, okay, lagyan po natin to ng konting mga linya. Okay? Para at least, okay? For example, this is okay. Sige, ganito po natin gawin. Okay. Pag-isahin ko lang to siya. Okay. We have the date. Una, we have the date. We have the particulars. Okay. We have the debit. Then, we have the credit. Okay? Okay? Ito po yung itsura nun, no? Okay? Hindi totally ito yung itsura. Okay? So, lagyan po natin to ng box. Okay? Para at least ma-picture out po natin ano po talaga itsura ng isang journal entry. Okay? Tanggalin po muna natin, okay, yung mga lines, and then balik. Okay. Ayan, no? Look, okay. And then lagyan po natin siya ng mga linya. Okay. Okay. Ito pong itsura na to, okay, this is considered a general journal sheet. Okay? This is a general journal sheet. Yung ganitong itsura. Okay? So, yon, no? We have the date. Importante po yung date. We have the particulars. Then, we have the debit and the credit. Okay? Sige. Yun po yung importanteng mga information in preparing the journal entry. Ito po siya, we consider this as a journal sheet. Okay? This is a journal sheet. A journal sheet is a sheet or a document wherein the journal entries are being recorded. Take note, the general journal sheet is a document where all journal entries, okay, are recorded, and the recording must be in a chronological, okay, in a chronological um, we record it chronologically. Ayun, no? Okay. So, yon. Okay, we have the date, we have the particulars, we have the credit, we have the debit and the credit. Okay. Sir, how are we going to how we are going to use the journal sheet? Okay, let's have a basic example. Okay, for example, no, I will prepare a transaction. No. Let's assume transaction this way. Okay. Um, A, okay, A, Alan, okay, sold, okay, or rendered, okay, services to customers, okay, 10,000 pesos. Okay, that's the transaction, no? Okay, para ma-journalize natin yan, ano yung una natin dapat gawin is that hanapin anong element po yung affected. Ano po yung element affected, no? The elements affected are, okay, no? Kung titignan po natin, okay, we have assets and revenue. Okay, that are the elements affected. Kasi, meron pong asset dyan at may revenue. Pangalawa, anong asset po yung naapektuhan? Okay, we are now applying, no? We are now applying yung diniscuss ko kanina. Ano po yung assets? Okay, ano po yung asset na naapektuhan? Take note, nag-render ka ng service to customer for 10,000. And then, once you render it, obviously, nakatanggap ka ng cash, which is an asset. So, cash na account title po yung affected. Okay, yun po ibig sabihin nun. Cash, affected po yun. Kasi, cash is an asset. So, yun po yung affected. Pangalawa, ano pong revenue? Okay, no, wala na pong ibang asset yung naapektuhan, kundi cash lang. Pangalawa, ano po yung revenue? Remember, nung nag-provide ka ng service, you earn an income. You earn an income kasi, kumbaga, it's your kita, okay, on rendering a service, okay? So, there is an income. And what type an income? That is a service income. So, that is an account title, okay? So, you have already identified, no, what elements, anong particular account title, okay? In this case, we have assets, okay, being affected, and revenue being affected. And under assets, the account title is the cash, and the revenue, we have the service revenue. Sunod, ano po ba effect nito? Okay? Anong effect sa cash? Okay? So, this is our analysis, ha? This is our analysis. Ano po ba effect sa cash? Okay. Sir, nakatanggap po ako ng cash. So, nadagdagan. So, there is an increase on cash. Okay? Yun, no? There is an increase on cash. Sir, sa revenue, yung income ko po, okay, nadagdagan rin. So, if nadagdagan, so there is also an increase on service income. Okay, that's your analysis. Okay, take note, ha. Sunod, kasi determine mo na, okay, if it is an increase or decrease. Titignan mo, ano po ba yan? Debit or credit? O, balik tayo sa taas. If increase sa asset, ano po ba yung sabi? We need to debit. Ayun, if it is an increase on asset, that is debit. And then, a revenue, an increase on revenue, it's a credit. Okay, so, ibig sabihin, so, we have already the debit, okay, for the assets, okay, we have the debit po, okay, and then, we have the credit. Ayun, okay? So, sir, we have already identified whether debit or credit. Ano po gagawin natin to prepare the journal entry? So, assuming that this transaction happened on January 1, okay? Let's assume, This happened on January 1. Okay. So, ano po gagawin natin? Okay, una, ilagay yung date sa date column, January 1. Okay? January 1. Okay, yun po, no? Yun po yung una natin gagawin on the date column. Pangalawa, determine ano po yung debit. Okay, based on the problem, okay, yung debit po natin is an asset with the account title of cash. Yung isusulat lang po natin on the particulars is the account title na ide-debit natin. So, we debit cash. Magkano po ba yung cash? 10,000. Ayun, that is our debit. Okay, take note ha, debit po yan. Una po parati yung debit sa recording. Debit parati yung una sa recording. Okay. The next one is, okay, we have the credit, sir. Paano po naman po yung credit? The credit, okay, ito po gagawin, yung sa credit. Okay? Okay, ito po gagawin sa credit. For the credit, guys, okay, i-indent po natin yon. Okay? We have an indentation. Remember, the credit is an element is the element revenue with the account title service income. So the credit would be a credit to, okay? Meron po yan dapat indentation, okay? Bakit importante ang indentation? Once you indent, guys, it means that is a credit already. So what if kung sa debit pa lang, 3 debit meron ako, hindi po ba ako mag-indent? Huwag munang mag-indent kung hindi pa mag-credit. Okay? Ito kasi isang debit, isang credit, kaya nag-indent ako agad kasi credit yung sumunod. The credit would be service revenue. Okay. Which is 10,000. And then, after that, another indentation. Ano po yung indentation na last? Well, that is your explanation, which is not totally relevant, no? Pero kailangan pa rin for proper recording, okay? An explanation about the transaction. A simple word, a simple sentence is enough. In this case, rendered service is the explanation. Okay? And that's it. Yan na po yung journal entry natin. There is an equal of debit and the credit. Okay? So, naiintindihan po ba how to prepare journal entries? Guys, hopefully naiintindihan po natin how to prepare journal entries. Okay? Guys? So, later, okay, or next time, we will discuss naman additional, we will proceed, no, to additional topics on accounting for non-accountants.